Let's go, let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've switched up my lighting. Let's see, maybe it'll look better in white. It's a little bit godlike. A slight blue. Yeah, Twitch baby. Um, cool. Welcome to another edition of I Shoot People in the Head while you get to listen to business advice and answers. Tonight, tonight, whatever it is, I've taken the top 30 questions off a couple of different internet searches and I'm going to answer them while I kill people, basically. It's totally PG fun. I've even turned off all of the blood this time, so I've turned off the blood, I've turned off the corpses. I didn't go as far as to put it on, like, there is a couple more filters you can do, but I thought they were a little bit weird. So we'll not bother with that. But ultimately, let's get stuck in because people like fast hitting content. Oh, wait, let's put the chat up here. Okay, just move the chat. So the format here really simple. Like I say, I'm going to shoot people and answer questions. And the questions have been submitted to me either online through, one of the 100 different companies and forums I'm on, etc. So, dear Brainy Globe, do I have what it takes to own, manage a small business? I mean, if you're even asking that question, well, the answer's yes, because all that it is to manage and own your own small business, really, is just to be responsible for yourself. The only thing that's different is that you don't get a salary every month, and it's up to you whether you do or not. So I think the question you need to ask really is less about do I have what it takes from a characteristic standpoint,
Hola, hola.
and more
Hola, hola.
do
Tú.
I have what it takes from a mentality mindset to do something like that. So I think that's really important to tell the difference. The other half of that's manage. So can you own one? Yes. If you want to be responsible for yourself, feel free to. Do you have what it takes to manage it? Well, that's just a workload thing. I mean, ultimately, if you don't want to, it's not going to be 9 to 5. That's just a myth. I always see that meme like, oh, I didn't like a 9 to 5, so I left and built my own business. Well, you definitely work more hours, especially in the first few years. So, yeah, if you're going to manage your own small business, I would suggest that just means, are you up for the challenge? Are you going to take it seriously? So, to flip the question back on yourself, if you're ever asking that, do I have what it takes? It's not necessarily a skill or a talent thing. This is a classic. What business should I choose? It's funny because there is a right answer to this ultimately, and it depends what the outcome is. It depends what the outcome is. So if you're trying to build a business to just, pay for cool stuff in your life, or, just to sort of like be aligned to a hobby. So, this is a hobby of mine, Valorant, playing this game. Maybe I could build a business that, services this community, and that would be we call it a lifestyle business for me to own. If I'm trying to build a business for someone else to buy in the future, so I get like an exit, or to be worth $1 billion, you need to have a company that's worth $1 billion. So you have to play that whole game. And if you're doing that, then yeah, there's definitely a type of business you should choose. For instance, you should definitely be always looking at business to business products. Consumer markets are really sketchy at the minute. We've just seen Made.com go bust, which is crazy. They're worth like 700 million or something. Did a public IPO like within the last 2 years and bust. And that's because they're a consumer focused business. So if you're going to choose a business that you want to run yourself, I would just do something cool and light, and something that you can just run alongside one of your hobbies. If you want to do a business to try and become Jeff Bezos, then focus on business-to-business services, and especially on automation. We saw a company today called Jasper.ai, and it plays off the OpenAI interface, and it builds like social media content. It's gone from 0 to 1.65 billion valuation within 18 months. It's the fastest growing company ever or something. And it's all based around automation. So I definitely think if you're going to be starting a business and you want to get funding and you want to try and, be the next big dog, go for business to business, go for automation. Okay, this is going to be a serious game. You've got to win. This game is about winning ultimately. The rules are really simple. It's 5-a-side. Everyone's got slightly different abilities, but the teams are mirrored. So whoever characters we've got access to on this side, the other team have also got access to. And you just choose the best 5 for you. So my guy's, he's a bit lame. He's mainly got smokes. Oh, missed every shot. Oh yeah, baby.
Spike down A.
We'll take that.
Spike spotted A.
One enemy remaining.
There's obviously different guns. Cool.
Still in sight.
Cover going out.
We'll just relax here for a second. We'll let the team do the running around. Thanks. What's a business plan and why do I need one?
Watch them run when
this is funny because actually it happened recently in my friend group. Someone was like, "Yo, I'm gonna build a business plan. I'll share it with you." And my instant reaction was, "Oh, don't waste your time." That's how my gut felt. Don't waste your time doing that. I think there's better things you can spend with doing your time. If you're going to start a business. So I would suggest that the best business plan you could do is by building the social profiles and seeing if you can sort of generate any type of community or excitement around your product. That's better than any 50 pages you can put on text. Now, again, it all comes down to the type of business that you want to run and what you're trying to build ultimately.
Spike planted.
Oh, lame. So yeah, business plans are useful though, and I shouldn't knock them too much. If you're just like, if it's just for you and your own business and your own hobby, then don't bother. If you're trying to do this right from day one and get VC funding and go down that route, then it is important. It's important for something that you probably don't think about. From my
One enemy remaining.
Let's
Last
go.
player standing.
It's gonna panic. Panicked. What it's actually teaching you to do from an early stage is explain your idea. I think the biggest thing, and a guy called James shared it on LinkedIn today. The biggest thing, especially with businesses that you don't expect, is that people don't get it, and they're it's quite visual when someone doesn't get it. When you tell me business idea, and they're like, "Wow!" And to you, it makes so much sense, So business plans get you in the mindset of writing that stuff down, explaining it to people, putting it in words what you're actually trying to do. So it's good for that. But again, I wouldn't put too much importance on it in terms of I need to do this first. I need to do a business plan first, or I can't do anything else, because that's just not true. That's not how this stuff works.
Spike down mid.
So yeah, don't feel like you need to do a business plan first or whatever.
Last player standing.
Oh, I turned corpses off. It's going to be around here.
Spike planted.
Pretty sure I can hear that in my left ear. I'm pretty sure that's planted on C, but my team are pinging on B. Ooh.
Cover going out.
Oh, that is just the worst shooting in the world. Sorry, team.
Reyna,
So yeah, business plans, don't get caught up on them. Especially don't think that it's a, you know, like a train track. I got to do this and then I do that. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is if other people are going to buy your product at the end of the day. So find that out first, you know. Speak to people and be like, hey, if I made this, would you buy it? That's better than any business plan you'll ever write.
I'll show you, scary omen.
Horrible question. Why do I need to define my business in detail? Again, it's not necessarily like no one at any point in your life ever with the business is going to say, hey, you need to have this or you've got to do this. It's all just, all of this stuff is designed and is there to make you forcefully go through like a process, you know, to go through the process of writing stuff down and getting yourself prepared.
Shadows
So when it comes to detail's quite easy to write. Detail's easy to write. Actually, what we find is that people can write 100-page documents of absolute gibberish, you know, with the most detail you've ever seen. But actually, the smartest people write short, concise documents. So instead of writing in detail, try and write, you know, stuff that 100%. Oh.
Last player
Oh, he did
standing.
quite well. So yeah, don't worry. I'm not gonna say don't worry about the detail, but ultimately,
They're just batteries.
not as relevant
And
as
I
you
need
think.
a recharge.
Yeah, so obviously in this game you can buy skins. So every gun has got a different cosmetic on it. They all shoot the same. Some guns are different prices, for example. But yeah, I've spent quite a bit of money on skins. I do quite like it. You can't sell them. There's no secondary market on them. But again, it's just looking cool online. That's pretty much the most important thing. It's the type of game I call like a party game ultimately. You know, you're playing it with 3 or 5 people or...
I've got your trail.
Doing a good job of holding them in here, so... Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. Oh, you can't see the mini-map. I'll have to move the chat, that's a good point.
Spike planted.
Yeah, the mini-map's quite critical. Yo, Jamie, enjoying the new layouts. Fabs. 5. Elf Flexo. What's going on, bro? Would like to give you...
Sage killed.
Yeah, Fabs, I'm just banging. Oh, oh.
Last player standing.
Wow. Enjoying how you turn down fancy. Yeah, I saw an email. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Probably best to
How
play
far are you taking it? Are you going all the way to group calls as well? Let me know. And yeah, the new format's cool. I'm just, you know, I wanted to start talking more, but ultimately, you know, if it's just me to camera, I find it a little bit too fake and a little bit too dry. So yeah. The question I got before that was legal aspects to consider. Again, I find that everyone has this weird order when starting a business that they're trying to go through, which is like, you know, you got to do stuff first, and then I'll go and see if anyone's interested. But I got to do
planted.
stuff first, and then I'll see if anyone's interested, or if like, oh well, if I, you know, got to set the company name up first and get all of that stuff right. And while yes, it is important, the most important thing in starting a business at any stage is if there's going to be interest from customers, and that's pretty much free to find out. So I always recommend doing that first.
Last player standing.
If you've got that covered off, then yeah, you're gonna need to get your legal stuff in line. Ultimately, the legals with the business, we've got a few things. We've got company's house, so just registering yourself as a limited company.
Once more into
You need to
battle.
make sure you've got any
I'm not
licenses
tired.
if you're trying to do anything weird. And I recommend, if you start businesses, to do stuff that's light, you know? Again, like this Jasper AI is just genius. You know, it's 1.6 billion valuation. It's so simple, but it's not simple at the same time. It's perfectly beautiful. It's very light.
I will be their nightmare.
I think that's what I want to preach, you know. Have a light business. You don't need to sort of build these heavy boats. Back up to the elevator, 6 people around the globe and random finishing. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. Oh, I was looking at the map. That's, let me see.
I am the hunter!
They will cower! Blind fools. Many enemies say.
Spike planted.
I think that's, I would say, just trying to.
Last player standing.
Wow, that was weird. Back up to the old MVP spec. That's awesome.
Time to
Yeah, that's
stock
awesome.
back up.
I'd love to come on. Yeah, so just share a link, and again, you know, with what we're doing here, it's outside of that stuffy context of LinkedIn. So, you know, we can try and get people in some web chats for sure. Legal elements. So, you know, again, keep it light, keep it simple. Make sure that you're just getting your bases covered in terms of, you know, the bare minimum. So that's company's house registration setup, filings. If you need any basic licenses, get those set up. But definitely, obviously, would recommend if you're going to be hiring staff to get all your staff contracts professionally looked at. I'm going to concentrate. Yes, great. All right, I'll answer it in 1 second. Let me try not to let my team down.
Spike planted.
And also, you know what? Don't worry about distracting me. I'm good at multitasking.
Last player standing.
Oh, it's one. Oh, how could one go about proving their investor leads? Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
great
we know the
question.
drill.
So the question,
Stick
Jen,
to your
really
roles
is,
and
you
we'll
know,
crush it.
how do you get investor leads? I guess is the simple one, and there's a few different ways you can do it. We spent years doing it manually. And when I say we, a bit of background, I'm a professional fundraiser. I've raised over 60 million with clients and blah 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 blah. But then I've got a business that does fundraising, works with over 100 and something clients as well. So we're pretty good at
Cover going out.
the whole raising funding thing. Ooh. It's a lot of noise. While I was gone.
Spike planted.
Stealing sight.
Last player standing.
Yeah, so leads, really interesting. Basically, there's loads of free tools out
enemy
there. So
remaining.
you've got stuff like OpenVC and, you know, where you can get investor detail, but that's not actually the trick. The trick is knowing who you're looking for and what you're looking for.
Let's get these
So I
idiots.
often find when I come into a business to work with them on fundraising, they actually haven't spent the time to build out the framework of their round, so that you haven't gone into the granular detail of B2C company, e-commerce, retail, by sector, consumer targeting,
I am everywhere.
whatever. And once you start to put all of those buzzwords against you, you can then start to look a little bit more generally on the online on the online tools.
Enemy spotted.
You got to
mid.
remember, investment in particular is like a, you know, they need to get leads, so they are getting much better
Cover going out.
at sort of getting themselves on all these forums and so forth. So you've just got to get better
Spike
at
planted.
finding relevant leads.
Let go.
One enemy remaining.
Just yeah. Oh, we'll have that operator then. So yeah, again, look at yourself first, look in the mirror first and understand. Is anyone diffusing that? Look in the mirror and understand, like, what am I actually? And then start going after those individual bins. I find the big mistake that people have is they use one sort of criteria and then the whole round runs off that. So, you know, have one round, have one set of investor outreach perhaps just for D2C investors, maybe have one for just sustainable investors, and just go after different cohorts. You don't need as many leads as you think. I mean, like 100 investor leads, good ones, will do you for a month. You know, that's how long it should take to get that sort of stuff out.
You want to
So-
play? Let's play.
Focus on quality.
Get out of my way.
Okay.
Scatter. Watch them run.
Oh,
down
can you
A.
believe that? So yeah, don't worry too much about like volume of leads for now. Just focus on making sure the targeting is good for you.
Scanning ahead.
Fuck 'em.
There they are.
Last player standing.
Oh, brutal. So yeah, I think
Last
that's my
round
answer
before the
really.
switch.
Put
We
it into
cannot keep our
bins,
goods
target it
after
more.
this. Spend all.
This is a question that keep asking me. You know,
Can
what do I
someone
need
get
to
this?
succeed?
Thank you.
And it's quite an interesting one because I sent my business partner a text the other day because we're in a pretty decent spot, and we've been through so many different iterations, and it's quite obvious to us what the recipe is. I think that, you know, to really succeed on like a real level, you need a team, and I know we hear that all the time. So, you know, surround yourself with great people. It's not as waffly as that.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
See, I don't think it's as waffly as like, oh, you've got to find
kill
like
my
your,
allies. Your duty
you know,
is
your
not
dream team. You can have like normal
Last
level
player standing.
employees and interns,
One
but
enemy
you know they have to
remaining.
be aligned with. Oh my gosh, this carnage. They have to be aligned with your sort of vision, and you know what makes someone great in a team perspective is ultimately that they pull in the same direction as you, not away from you. So having a team that pulls in the same direction and enjoys pulling in the same direction is huge. You need data, lots of data, customer
Switching
data,
sides.
product
will be towards
product
at least one
data.
of us.
You need lots and lots of data to get a really successful business. Because, you know, for example, in our business, it's all about getting people through the funnel and making sure that they get to the end of that, and the products then switches on and it goes through. We can only optimize each point based on data, so to get really good and really successful, you need data. The next thing you need is, unfortunately, is capital. And if you haven't, you know, if you're lucky like we are, where we can generate capital from clients, so we don't really need investors, traditional
Let's fly.
investors, then that's great. Not everyone's that lucky. For example, a games company, you know, if I wanted to start a game, it'd take me 2 years to build.
Cutting their vision. Enemy spot.
Oh my god. Let's get out of there, eh? So yeah, team's really important. resource is really important.
Last player standing. Spike down mid.
I'll get my shots
Flawless.
unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. See, a few different things ultimately.
The symphony of death. Don't worry, you get used to it.
I think another thing, actually, thinking about it, is timing. You know, ultimately, to be successful in business, I've told the story of Jasper AI 10 times already. The timing for them is just perfect. You know, they they were just there at the right time when OpenAI was getting good, and they put a really sexy front end on it, and the market was ready for their product. So timing is really important.
Shadows traveling.
Even non, you don't need to be that into the business scene and reading business news every day to understand that.
Spike carrier was killed.
Spike down A.
My corazón.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Shadows traveling. I have the spike.
Oh, that was almost brilliant. So yeah, timing,
Match
ironically,
point.
is
I got
really,
your backs.
really important.
Just, you know,
And you can judge timing, even if you don't follow business news. You'd know, like, the Meta's metaverse has come out at the wrong time. You know, you kind of still know this stuff. So, well, match point.
reloading.
Overtake them.
Reloading. Enemy spotted.
Insecto. Enemy spotted
He's
A.
just gonna be in this window as always.
Cover going out. Shadows traveling. Our carrier is dead.
Spike down A.
You're done. Reloading.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
5 HP. It's a Sage though, so we're playing a bit defensive, so let's exploit that. Oh, not if you die first.
Defenders win.
Okay, warm-up game. Warm-up game. Oh, we got an easy in the chat. They put easy in the chat. It was easy, to be fair. We didn't put much of a fight up there. Skip. Silver ones. That's my rank. It's not a bad rank, actually. Not to interrupt you for that. It makes me laugh so much. That's the whole point. Chat away. Ask questions. If you got any questions you want to chat or anything, stick it in. The video got, my last video, this format got 50 views. So maybe this one will get 60, who knows. If we go green, green's a bit weird. Pink, do I look like an e-girl?
Match found.
With pink, maybe. I don't know how that would go down on the yellow. I'll probably look a bit ill. Yeah, it's fancy lighting. I've even got a color pad. They need smokes, so we'll go smokes.
I am the end.
Hola.
Orange is a bit hot. Red's a bit pure red.
Heck.
It's a bit weird. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a couple in red. So yeah, what do you need to succeed in business? Look, I think the answer to that one is, you know, you need a little bit of
¿Qué prefieres
everything.
que juegue?
Luck is
Amber
really
Bridge.
important.
¿Veis?
Un duelista.
Sí, yo diría otro duelista que pueda entrar más fácil.
So the next question, would a partner make it easier to be successful? Define success. Maybe that's the question you have to ask back to that one. Define what success means. I'm gonna put a lot of my business success and horrible word. I put a lot of my day-to-day achievement down to my business partner. Definitely critical, absolutely critical for me. But then I think when I was a bit younger, having a business partner like that would have been quite toxic for me in a way, because I wouldn't have been able. When I was a younger entrepreneur in particular, I wasn't that great at listening to people. It was just like I had the vision, I wanted to go for it. I didn't really care what other people thought. So I did have a partner back then. I probably wasn't ready for it. So such a cliche, but you know, I do think that different versions of yourself through different periods of time will need different things. So, you know, I think instead of asking, do I need a business partner, you really have to ask, like, am I open to having a business partner? You know, having someone that you have to trust completely, someone that you have to listen to. And I think that is the hardest thing, you know. I work with hundreds and hundreds of people on a very intimate, personal level. And, you know, people struggle to listen. They really do. You know, everyone wants to talk. And look at me just sitting here talking. Like, everyone wants to talk. So when you've got a partner, you do sometimes have to sit and listen. And they're going to be worried and upset or concerned about different stuff than would worry or concern and upset you.
Enemy spotted A.
And that's part of it in a way, you know. Oh, wow, there's someone up here.
Here.
Satchel out.
I got the spike. Reload.
Spike down A.
Reloading.
Well, we won the first round of the last game, so maybe it's a negative
Last player
to win
standing.
the first round. See, I definitely think that having a business partner is a massive plus point. Definitely a massive plus point if you are ready for it. So, you know, I think a lot of being successful is being able to truly understand your own self and limitations and being able to offload that on someone else. So it's quite a deep thing. I mean, and I've probably got another answer to what my business partner does, but everything that I do in my life from here on out will be with him as a business partner, just because of the way that we work together. So
Time to jump.
yeah, I think they are important, but it depends what you're doing ultimately.
Enemy spotted mid. Enemy A.
Shadows. Not ready yet.
That's a beautiful kill.
Enemy spotted A.
Stealing sight.
Spike down A.
That's funny. Quite nice to play though, I like it.
Last player standing.
We'll have to play well this game. Or we'll get reported. So yeah, I think a business partner would make it easier.
Pick something nice to kill them with. It's the least we can do.
How can I hire qualified employees? Sounds simple, right? I mean, you'd think that in reality you just, you know, put a job advert up there and no one's got jobs, right? So you'll get loads of applications and you can choose the best people. The actual reality is crazy. I mean, you could put an advert out there for like the best job in the world, and people will look at it with a lot of skepticism, especially from a new startup. That's our own team flashed us, I think.
No charges.
Enemy A.
Moving out.
There.
Fake teleport.
Enemy A.
Maybe we get out here and go catch up with the Sage.
Here.
Sage is going in the back for some reason.
We tend to dust.
Reloading.
Here. Shadows traveling.
Let's go. I need to play well. I think that's
30 seconds left.
50% of this stream actually. Because if I don't play well, then ooh.
Last player standing.
Ooh. He says he gets shot in the back of the head. Oh, close. Much closer. So you think that hiring employees is easy, right? And you just put a job advert up and loads of people apply. Honestly, like, it's probably one of the hardest things. And it's probably the thing that's got the highest chance of ruining your business and closing
Never
you
show
down.
weakness.
For example,
Ever.
you've got the budget to pay someone for a year. And when you're budgeting of paying someone for a year, you expect that maybe 2 weeks of training, and then they'll be in the output of the business for the next 12 months. So you can plan your business. So if you need that person for sales or marketing or customer service, you would expect that they were available. Well, no. So of the 12 months, 1 month of that, or 5 weeks, whatever, they've got holidays. So, you know, you
I'll find you.
haven't got a full year's worth of supply.
Goodbye.
I've got a full year's worth of supply, which is quite crazy in itself. That's just the reality. The second thing is that, well, actually, the person that you hire is probably not going to be the one that you're going to want.
Our carrier is dead.
Spike down B.
Oh, no trigger display.
The hunt begins.
So then the next thing is that that person's probably not going to stay, so then they're going to leave, so then you've got new training time, you've got new, you've got to hire someone
player
new.
standing.
So even in an ideal world, you might only get like 9 months or something out of the year, which is actually got someone working at full output, so hiring the right people is really tough. Really tough.
That Reyna is not as fearless as she
The best
appears.
thing to do is to build a company with sort of a network inbuilt. So if you work in software now, then it's going to be quite easy for you to hire software people because you've worked alongside them. So you can, you know, get the buddies back together. Or if you've worked in corporate finance, you know corporate finance. So yeah, try and make it easy on yourself, I guess.
Where are you?
Shadows traveling.
Next.
Oh, she got her. Nice.
Blinding.
Spike down mid.
He got him.
I
That's
have the
cool.
spike.
See, hiring's super important. Be careful with it. Only do it when it's absolutely necessary. I mean, like, absolutely necessary. So, you know, hiring people is such a responsibility in itself.
Cutting through.
It's not really something you want to mess with. Mess with other people's lives and their income. It really rubs people up the wrong way if you don't do it the right way.
Spike
So,
planted.
you know, make sure you've got the budget there for their year's salary and everything else before you do it.
One enemy remaining.
4.
Well, we're in a great position to win a round. Oh, this is crazy.
Grenade!
What a throw that was.
A.
Huge. We got around. Get in. That is
The
much
nightmare
welcome.
turns in our favor.
Yeah, don't mess with hiring. Try and avoid it at all costs for as long as possible. How do I set wage levels? Is the next question, and well, the market sets the wage level ultimately. It's not really something any one person can have an effect on. You know, people know how much they're worth, and they're normally leaving another job X, Y, Z to come to you. So, you know, unless you're hiring someone who's never worked before, then kind of is what it is. Yo, Grid Finder. Wagwan.
Spike down A.
Losing horrifically tonight, but
Carriers down.
Sleep.
is what it is.
Reloading.
The spike is here.
Stealing sight.
I have the spike. Enemy B.
Cover going out.
Find you. Last player standing.
Yikes, yikes, yikes. See, how do I set wage levels? You can't really set wage levels. I mean, it's a
They
bit of a
have
weird
courage,
concept, that question
no
in
one is
itself. You know, you just have to pay what the market pays. I guess you've got tiers within that. And then if you want to be like a great employer, you can pay people more than they're worth. But
Here.
I wouldn't mess again. Just be super careful when hiring. I think it's the #1 route to quickly bust your business. Oops.
Time to jump.
Watching here.
Can use that. Shadows traveling.
Enemy
Not
spotted
ready
A.
yet.
See ya.
For you.
Oh, he's in the tunnel.
Spike
That's
down
horrible.
A.
What are the financial responsibilities that do I have for my employees? Again,
Last player
in
standing.
the UK you've got pensions and, you know, you've got to make sure you pay their tax. That's pretty shady if you don't do stuff like that. So, you know, general business responsibilities,
Boom.
yes.
Satchel out.
Oh no. Oh, quite nice though.
Grenade.
But runs backwards into another play. Yeah, financial responsibilities for employees, you know,
Let them
just
try
focus
to
on the
get
wage,
through.
try and keep it simple. I think the biggest key theme with hiring in any capacity is to keep it simple. Yeah, as soon as you start getting into options plans and all this sort of stuff, you know, ultimately any employee just wants to come to work and get paid and sort of do what they want outside of that, or so the more you laden them
will be
with
their
the stuff, the
nightmare.
harder it is for that. So just keep it balanced. Try not to sort of promise the earth. Is he gonna ult us? Wow, they got 5 ults.
Welcome to my world.
Yikes.
Get out of here.
Yeah, try not to make financial commitments to employees. I think
Your
that's
duty is not over. Healing.
I think that's important.
Go for a second.
Reloading.
Last player standing.
Woo! The MMR is not loving me tonight. What kind of security measures must I take?
Can't use this yet.
God, that's a weird question as well. I think there's multiple answers to that one. He's good there, Servo. I think if you've got a physical business, so let's look at the word security literally. You know, if you're a physical business, it's your responsibility to sort of secure your premises, etc. I owned a car garage, and we used to do
30 seconds left.
really expensive cars. Like at one point we had 4 Rolls Royces, a Lamborghini Murcielago, a brand new Porsche, a couple of caravans, which were expensive caravans, and you know, so all in all, you know, a couple of million quid's worth of
10 seconds left.
You fought well.
a couple of million quid's worth of
Spike
stock.
planted.
It's done great though. Look to the flash. So we had a couple of million quid's worth of stock, and I used to have these
One enemy remaining.
security cameras on my mobile phone, so I would just sit petrified, basically. Oh, so close. I used to just sit petrified looking at these cameras on a nighttime, just like any type of light going across the cameras or anything, so I was just paranoid, absolutely paranoid about security. So yeah, I think security is quite important. In a business like I own now, which is, you know, pretty much fully digital and managed from the cloud, we've got a big responsibility over our clients' data, and I work with cool people, we work on cool projects. You know, it's not our stuff to leak, so we have to be very careful. So we take security in this context incredibly seriously. A bit too seriously, but I think it's important.
You are powerless. Can't use that.
Yeah, he's just charging us.
Enemy spotted B.
Enemy spotted. Mid. Precision kill. Satchel out. Enemy satchel out.
Cover going out.
One enemy remaining.
Get that for me, Sage.
Oh, they were not good enough.
Nice. So now we just make sure everything's correctly stored. Security for yourself. I
we
mean,
will bury them under their country.
insurance is incredibly important. Again, our insurance is crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine a scenario in which we'd need to use it, but we've had to get it just in case. I mean, if we business advisors and we give someone advice, and that advice then leads in them losing their company, for example, or getting sued or whatever, you know, we need a lot of insurance for that sort of stuff. But personally, I don't think you need to worry too much. Whoa. VCs will ask you to get personal insurance, and if you die, it's to pay off their VC funding, basically.
Good attempt.
Time to jump. Reloading. Fake teleport.
Shadows traveling.
Cutting through.
Not ready yet.
Reloading.
Blinding.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
One enemy remaining.
Awesome, let's go. See, I think for yourself, don't worry too much about your own security. Only ever think about clients, because clients are the ones who are going to get angry. So, yeah, just make sure you cover your own risks. And analyze your risk properly. I mean, risk's a crazy old beast. Like, what's the risk of me playing this game now, and what could I sue Valorant for? I mean, ultimately,
It begins.
we always know the epilepsy warnings, etc., so they're cautious about people's health.
Drop the
I got the
spike.
spike. Cutting through.
Disappear.
I
Spike
had the
dropped.
spike.
I'll handle this.
Viper down.
Enemy spotted mid.
Oh, I could see her on the minimap, but I don't know where she is.
Cover going out.
Ah, no. Run for my life. Yeah, forget about security. It's a weird concept.
Where are you?
Oh, this is a cool question.
Barrier created. Bring them down.
Should I have family members to
They're
work for
blind
me?
with fear.
I'm gonna put
We'll
family
catch
and
them.
friends in the same bracket here.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Last round in the half.
Buy what you need. Otherwise, we're going to look very stupid. Here.
I'm gonna put family and friends in the same bracket. Just because I think they're just as relevant.
Marked one.
Should you hire family? Yes. Yes, because if you remember what I said about hiring a team, the only thing that really matters is if people care or not. We've got an AFK, which means they've left the game.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
Family members, yeah, because, you know, the biggest thing in business is getting a team of people who care as much as you do. You know, as a business owner, your job is pretty much just to make sure the whole company pulls together at the same speed. And if you get 10 people pulling together forward on the same project with the same energy and the same enthusiasm, you will be successful.
Portal closed.
One enemy remaining.
Three.
Oh my gosh. No room. That's painful to be a part of. So yeah, family are great for that. Should
Switching sides.
I don't
Now I
care
think
if
there's a
there are
difference
5 of
between
them or
hiring a
50 of
family
them.
member,
Let's
family
go.
member, and going into business with a family member. You know, if you've been listening, the biggest thing about starting a business anyway is, you know, picking the type of business that you want to run. So if you're really wanting to grow a business into something that's VC funded and becomes a unicorn in that pathway, then doing it with a brother is a little bit weird. It would definitely, for whatever, I don't know why that's weird, but in that context, I definitely don't think it would be like us as an amazingly positive thing for some weird reason. Maybe that's to do with professionalism of the board and, you know, the perceived weaknesses of, you know, having... Yeah, I had two brothers who were clients.
Spike planted.
Actually, the only company will play it away, and they were a really good team.
Last player standing.
Stealing sight.
Raze has abandoned the match. Our Raze just doesn't want to play, unfortunately. See, I like family members, especially hiring them. But going into business with them, a little bit different, and I think it should be treated differently. Now, if the business is a hobby and it's a passion, and you share a passion with someone, then fuck yeah. I'm sorry, I try not to swear on this. I might have to bleep that out. Then yeah, absolutely. You know, do it with a friend or a family because they're gonna be as stoked as you are. So again, just read the room, you know? Read
Time
the
to
room.
jump.
Where are you?
If this is gonna be about more than just you,
Cover
so you know,
going
if you're
out.
gonna have to go and get funding from other people, then they might just not love the brother-sister dynamic, or the mum-dad, or whatever, or,
Hey,
or even husband-wife.
reload before you.
Spike down A.
Enemy A.
I got clients who are husband and wife, and it, you know, definitely makes some weird questions. Oh, this game's so
One down.
chaotic.
Last player standing.
Ended up killing no one. See, I like family. Friends is a
I
different
know
conundrum
what
entirely.
must be done.
So friends is good. VCs like friends, but they'll ask you questions like for real. They'll ask you a question like, how do you know each other? How long have you known each other for? So they want people who've been friends and worked together before for, you know, professionally. They look for that. So again, if it's totally random, like if I was starting a business and I had one of my mates in the business with me, it would just probably feel random. Coming through here. Oops. So yeah, again, just make sure it's got purpose. I think a lot of the stuff that I talk about ultimately is, you know, defined by purpose. Like, I don't like things happening by choice or by chance.
Spike planted.
Ah, nice one.
Fake teleport.
Healing you.
So yeah, just make sure it's
Cutting
got
through.
purpose. I think if any of these questions, if you just ask yourself, is there a purpose? Oh,
Last player standing.
that is unlucky, to be fair. See, I love family members and I love
Survive the
friends.
obliteration. I will survive them.
It's just, do I need a computer? I mean, what kind of question is that? I mean, who's actually going online and asking questions like that? On a computer. 'Cause it's an online thing. Unless they're stopping people in the street, you know, for these research bases.
Cover going out. Begins.
We found one.
Watch them run.
Stand down.
Stealing
Enemy
sight.
spotted A. Decoy. Reloading.
No charges. Shadows traveling.
Spike planted.
Enemy spotted.
Cover going out.
Wall raised.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, I hate this feeling. Yeah, there it is.
Welcome to my world.
Last player standing.
Yes, not today. Not today. See, yes, of course you need a computer to run a business. I mean, technically the answer is, well, no, you don't need a computer, but that would just be
Circle better
weird, because
watch
then you're
them
talking about, can you
butts.
do it from a phone? And yes, you can run it from a phone. I mean, there's no reason why you can't run a business from a phone, but it's, again, what's the purpose? What are you actually trying to do? You know, I recommend doing anything with purpose. So if you're trying to do something without it, does that mean you need to go and buy a gaming rig? No, no. So, do you need a computer?
Jump.
Yes. Does it need to be a gaming rig? No. So I would say the
Cutting
mandatory requirement to start a computer is a small laptop. I've made an unbelievable amount of money just from a 13-inch MacBook, so maybe that's the bare minimum you need. A 2012 13-inch MacBook, that was my work computer for about 8 years.
No charges. Shadows traveling. Go.
Lame. Hate dying. Oh my god, the next question's even worse.
Enemy removed.
I'm going to speak to my list compiler and say, what the hell are these questions? What about telecommunications? Do I need a
Spike
telephone?
planted.
Technically
Your
not.
duty is not over.
No.
I'm up.
I don't speak to a single client of mine using a mobile phone. It's all pre-booked web chats, so... however, you do need a mobile phone for 3-factor authentication on loads of stuff, so... Maybe there's an argument for it in that context.
Wall raised. Mark one.
Still great.
Blasphemous.
Well done.
One enemy remaining.
What about telecommunications? What a question.
Don't stop fighting. You must keep going, even if you're the only one.
How much money do I need to get started? The average UK business, this is a statistic that I've read, and it may or may not be true. I think it's true. The average UK business gets about 27,000 from friends and family to sort of start. Now that is massively overkill in my opinion. Unless you're hiring staff from day one.
Annihilated. Blinding. Silence.
Come on.
Spike down B.
Oh gosh.
No charges.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
I don't know how we lost that fight. That was a bit stupid.
Barrier created.
One enemy remaining.
Let's go. That is amazing play. We're going to clap for that.
Valiant effort. Blasphemous.
Nice. So how much money? The average UK business gets about 25k. Let's use an
backs will be
actual
towards
example
at
and
least
just,
one
you
of
know,
us.
unpack this a little bit slowly as I nerf my rank in Valorant. What do you need money for? There's some stuff that you need money for that you can't escape, so you're going to have to pay for a website domain. That's going to be about, let's say, 100. Let's round stuff up to the nearest 100. So a website domain is going to be 100 quid.
I will rip the light from
You're then
them.
going to need some form of like email suite and just stuff to get it all running, hosting, etc. So we can put that at another 100 quid. So you're at 200 quid just for like a domain and stuff. You're then going to need a website. Recommend you just...
Spike down A.
Shadows traveling.
Got me excited there.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
Oh. So, 100 quid for like your website and stuff, and then another 100 quid just for your domain, and another 100 quid just for like hosting and emails and stuff. So we're up to 200. You're then gonna need ultimately a website. So whether you're gonna get a website builder, or you're gonna use like a Squarespace, I think it's called, template.
30 seconds left.
You're not gonna be able to do that for less than 100 quid anyway. That's a great shot.
This was taken.
So we're up to 300.
Reloading.
Can you do it yourself? I would hope so. Can you design a logo yourself?
again,
Probably
the fear
not
is
the
a
average
crack and the
person.
crack
I mean,
is
I
fresh.
can design a logo. Designed all my logos, but not everyone's got that ability. So let's say you need to spend another 100. So I'd say really
Watching here.
you're up to about 500 just for like your website, your logo, your domain, and your stuff. You next need to obviously make it legal, so you need a company's house, etc. Let's call that 100 quid just to actually make the filing.
find you.
It's only 70 quid, so we'll round it up.
Enemy spotted mid.
She's like an elephant.
Watch them run. My ult.
Spike planted.
Oh, that is so bad. So yeah, 500 quidish for that. Then you've got to ask yourself, what are you actually trying to do? Are you trying to build any type of tech or product? Using the example of a software studio, or you're trying to build some form of software, you know, you're going to need 5 or 10k to build something. You know, something that someone's going to pay for.
Nowhere to run!
Yeah, you got to push them.
Enemy B. Last player standing.
Unlucky. So yeah, if you're doing something service-based, you're gonna need money to
Match
pay
point.
yourself a salary if you haven't
Dimensional
got
fabric
that.
here is
So
thin. I'll tear through.
if you're doing something like a games company and you know, building something like this and you need money for salaries, other people's salaries, I've already told you don't hire people unless you can hire them for like a year. So, you know, if you're doing that, you need hundreds of thousands. So it scales quite quickly. But I believe that
Coward, run.
for me, the logical step to any business nowadays is have the business idea first. Build the website and all the socials and have it in sort of like coming soon mode. And then just seeing if you can get
Begins. You are powerless. Cover going out.
Last player standing.
Ugh. Don't even have a gun. Yeah, I don't even have a gun.
Spike planted.
Never mind. So yeah,
Attackers win.
first step is obviously
Welcome to my
website, etc.
world.
But just, you know, just make it look good and see if anyone wants to interact with it. I think that's the trick. Building that wait list up as big as possible, and you know, getting, you know, refining the product as much as you can is just critical. Okay, 2 losses in a row. We're gonna win one now. I'm confident, so we'll just keep going. So yeah, money to get started. Depends what you're trying to build. As an example, Inverse current company costs nothing, not 1 pence, which is quite funny. Because it's my best one yet. I think it's a bit.
Match found.
That's bad. So Inverse didn't really cost anything. My car company, 10k probably that was. We had a little rent deposit to pay, and I bought some security cameras, as I already said, but not much. That was mainly just people.
Stand in my
That's way
way.
aggressive.
I dare you.
And my food business, I remember it to the penny. That was 27. It was about 25 to 27k. Again, that was because we had a big rent deposit to pay, and we had to fit it out. We had to build this bespoke counter, which again, in hindsight, is just like such mistakes. You know, should have initially just opened and just got, you know, we should have just got open in some light format and just understood what the customers want and then build something. But you never do it like that. You want to do it like the grandest show on earth. You know, the right way for everything is slowly, slowly. So yeah, try and limit it. You know, try and start your business with 0. And if that works for you at 0, then go, right, okay, what can I do with 5k? For example, where we are with our business, we're now scaling. So it's like, say you're generating £300 worth of sales for £10 worth of adverts. If you add a 0 to the spend, do you add a 0 to the revenue? Does it scale?
Just like we practiced.
Simply like that. See if you can work that stuff out before you spend money.
Rest. Marked one.
Trevor!
Nice.
Oh wow, they're trolling. You can't see it, but yeah, the team are being a bit toxic.
Rezalet.
Right there.
Cut my left.
Right there. Spike planted.
Let's just hide.
One enemy remaining.
Enemy spotted B.
Got him. Let's go. See how much money you get started? I think that's a trick question.
faster than
The answer should always be 0. And then take it a little bit more seriously and spend by the domain and, you know, just work it up, Don't just like, don't just be sitting there waiting for something to happen before you need to go and start. You know, the first step is starting. The first step is always starting.
Breathe deep.
So maybe a bird comes out here. And you gotta look away. It's a dog.
Reloading.
Concussing!
I'll find you. Marked one.
Clearing out! Right there.
Enemy spotted B.
Spike planted.
Okay, we're in a nice space.
One down.
They've helped us with that wall.
One enemy remaining.
Out of charges. Flash out! What's your tiptoeing? Okay.
Sorry, my friend, you caught me the wrong time. 2 losses in a row. See, how much money do you need to get started?
Glad
Let's
we
start it low. Let's try and preach sustainable business models. What are the alternatives in financing a business?
Careful.
That's the first good question I'd say we've had all night.
Hit them fast, hit them hard.
Ultimately, you can't swap out the need for capital for any other thing. You know, you need resource.
Sleep. Reloading for you.
Oh, that's weird.
Enemy spotted A.
Blinding!
Reloading.
A little bit trigger happy of me. I was getting a bit excited. So yeah, you can't really sub out needing money
Last
for
player
anything.
standing. One enemy remaining.
I mean, you could argue that, yeah, if you get a CTO, for example, a chief technology officer, they can build the first code, so you don't need to pay for someone to develop it, so you can sub it out there. There's loads of alternative finance in terms of like revenue financing or debt or grants. I mean, grant funding's fascinating, but it's, you know, you have to set up your whole business just to get grant funding. It's about writing applications and entering competitions and
I'll do
getting
my
on
job, you do
accelerators.
yours.
It's hard, you know. So should we go red? Should we go green? I like blue. I think blue gives us a cool look. So yeah, I don't think there is an alternative to getting capital in. The true alternative, you know, the only other alternative is from customer revenue. So you sell one product and you use that money to try and build another.
You want to play? Let's play.
Uh-oh. He's gonna get greedy in a second and shoot me in the head.
On my mark. Multiple enemies A.
Oh, I even told you what was gonna
Mark
happen.
two, blocking
I
sight.
somehow called
Enemy
my own
spotted
death.
A.
I foresaw the future. Oh, that hurts. So yeah, the only other true alternative is financing it from revenue, which is totally possible.
Don't get in my way.
Enemy spotted. Planted.
I think the spike's been planted on.
Enemy down.
Last player standing.
Now you have to take the shot. Oh, or don't. 2-2. So yeah, revenue ultimately is a cheeky answer
Look at
to
me.
that. I'm
I
sorry.
know that I am by your side.
What do I have to do to get a loan? Loans are really hard, especially if you're a first-time startup. Loans ultimately in business, much like personal finances, need to be secured against something. So in business, they secure them against yourself.
Enough playing
If
with
you've
our
got a
food.
limited company, you can close the limited company, and the debt dies with it. So if you owe your fruit and vegetable supplier £100
sight.
and your business closes, then
Healing thee.
Forever! Blasting!
the debt dies with the business.
Flash out!
Mark Mark two.
Spike planted.
So, however, loans will secure them to yourself. So if the
Loaded.
business dies, you still owe the loan,
Raise.
which doesn't sound like a big scary thing while you've got the business, because it's like, oh well, you know, my business can pay for it.
Enemy
but
spotted B.
Blinding!
So, yeah.
Last player standing.
Oh, I think she's done enough. No, maybe not. Oh, that is so close. So yeah, that's the first thing. Loans, big red mark
doing
against
this
them.
or
Try and
what?
keep away from debt, especially secured debt, because it's just gonna get you in a pickle. Debt always sounds great until you have to repay it. And look at the coronavirus loans in the UK. You know, businesses were just gifted 50k loan. It's causing people so many problems. So many problems. I don't know why people aren't talking
Their
about it more.
fears betrayed them.
The businesses can't pay it back. They've had to like get extensions on top of it or close.
Blocking sight. Your duty is
Not today. Oh, yesterday.
good attempt. Reloading.
Left. Yeah, yeah. No, no.
One enemy
Guy
remaining.
killed.
Enemy spotted.
Okay, we should win this from here. So yeah, if you are then gonna get a loan, okay, so say you get past the first criteria, which is like, no, please don't get a loan, please don't get a loan. The next thing is maths, ultimately. It's all calculated from finance
Later,
forecasts,
use your
so you
weapon.
need to prove that you
Or
can
use a gun,
repay the loan.
whichever.
So you'll need to use some form of finance modeling. Normally I would show a 12-month cash flow model, and then sort of a 12-month forecast or 3-year forecast, depending on what they ask for. They should normally ask. They may want to understand your transactions. Now with open banking, they can just pull this information anyway. So companies like Wayflyer, they just pull all of that shit anyway.
Flash out!
One down. Enemy spotted A.
Clearing out!
Here. Reloading. Where are you?
Blinding! Out of charges.
Not a good look. Don't run through doors when it's stunned
Reload
like
you.
that. So yeah, try and
Yikes.
avoid loan products if at all possible. They're gonna get you in a bit of trouble.
Barrier here.
I suggest you move!
Spike planted. Block the site. Enemy spotted A.
I mean, the stun lasts
Last
for like
player
1
standing.
second, literally. It's pretty poor, his ultimate. Just stand there and take it. What kind of profits can I expect? You would expect me to be in, I think, well, it's a terrible
They think
question,
they're better
but
than us.
I think it's quite relevant. Because say if the purpose of this is for someone who's starting a business or thinking of starting a business,
Need a drop.
I think anybody who's had a successful business will tell you the answer to how much profit can I make is a hell of a lot less than you would imagine. You know, going back to my first ever business when I was 20, it was a busy food takeaway. I was doing like a couple of grand a week. Had to pay people and rent. And by the time you get to the end of it, you do kind of think this.
I've got your trail.
Oh, I'm stuck on the ledge.
Reloading.
Tremor! Pitiful.
I'll find you.
Oh, I hit him.
Enemy B.
He's low. Oh, but he's killing everyone, so it doesn't matter.
Barrier created.
Last player standing.
Enemy spotted B. Kill.
Well, that's beautiful. That is wonderful play. First class. So, the profit thing, anyway, a lot less than you imagine.
Viper, you're
A lot
enjoying
less
this a
than you
little too
imagine.
much.
Probably whatever a normal salary you could earn for your job that you want to then turn into a business. Imagine that and then less.
Watching here.
Being a business owner is really crap in terms of making money. You make your money when you sell the business. Normally, that's sort of like the normal business journey. Actually being the owner of a business. Now, again, exceptions to that. If you own a local restaurant, then yeah, you can make good money from the restaurant.
Concussing! Weak. Clearing out! Flash out!
One enemy remaining.
Enemy spotted. Marked one.
I want want to kill her.
Bringing up body bags.
Yes, it is. I shouldn't say kill. I want to end her round.
We must make the enemy
Kills
afraid.
perhaps a little bit
Look at
aggressive.
Anyone have
Viper.
funds to spare?
Scary mask, scary voice. She understands.
Okay, this is a better game. We're playing a lot better in this game. A little bit more aggressive.
Thank you.
So yeah, profits. Now, as the business matures, so we had a business that had done 6 million revenue, and the founder was capped by the VC firm at 70k for his salary. Then obviously you've got dividends. You can take
You
a
want
share
to
of the
play?
profit,
Let's
but
play.
it's highly unlikely that
Headshot.
Blinding. Flash out.
Reloading.
Blasting.
Gun here.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Spike planted.
Oh, there we
I
go.
knew your.
So yeah, then so I had a founder once who's 6 million revenue and was only allowed to take a salary of 70,000, and you can imagine how that conversation went.
Need a drop.
Hey Jamie, what's your advice? And I was like, well, ultimately, I haven't really got much choice because they're the one who are giving you, you know, £1 million to run the business. So, yeah. However, if you're making a,
Fight.
let's say, like it goes really, really well, like the best you can do, and the best I've seen people do with the business,
Enemy spotted A.
20, 30 grand a month, I would say.
Reloading.
Reloading. Reloading. Where are
Blinding.
Okay, I've got that being here.
Reloading.
Flash out.
Bring them down. Reloading. Close your eyes.
One enemy remaining.
Absolute chaos.
Bring them down. Spike planted.
Best you can do is 20 to 30k a month, I would say.
Where are you? Reloading.
So if that's not sort of ambitious enough for you, then I would.
Last player standing.
You can probably get more
Did I
salary
get inside your head?
being an employee or, you know, like
Last round
self-employed
before the
freelancer or
switch.
something, and you can't actually
Spend
be
what you got.
a business owner. For example, in my business
Anyone
now, I've
need
got
anything?
a, you know, capped salary with my co-founder, and kind of is what it is. I find that better because it's, you know, it's motivating to sort of drive it on, and yeah, if I needed money I could say something or whatever, but you know, we just try and keep it realistic. So good
Keep
good
them on
that's a
the
better
run.
question. What kind of profits can I expect? Low to medium low.
Watch this.
Enemy spotted.
Oh, I should be ashamed of myself.
For you. Mark one.
Concussing. Clearing out. That's not ready. I suggest you move.
Block sight. Spike down. Bring them down.
Spike down B.
They're blind with fear.
Enemy down.
Let's go, that's huge.
Last player standing.
Oh, that's unlucky. Quite liking this water guy now,
Toxin
Harbor.
screen down.
One enemy remaining. Clutch.
Yes!
If you want something done right,
Let's go.
do it yourself. Don't get in my way.
Switching sides.
It's hard not to play with my food.
Trevor!
Blasting!
Spike down. Attacker spawn. One enemy remaining.
We had to go over the rope. They're going B, so I'll go back A just in case. And then I'll load up the next question. Pew pew pew! Nice. Very happy with that.
We gotta pick.
Ooh,
We move
another
in.
good question,
Got it?
one of my favorite ones. What should I know about accounting and bookkeeping? Everything. Everything. I'd say that's the most important thing to know about before starting a business, because ultimately, you know, the word profit is how much profit can I make from my business, and you can only make profit by understanding your margins and understanding all of your
Let's have some
costs against
fun.
your revenue. You know, you'd look at it and go, you know, on a simple level, I'm going to make a business, I'm going to sell 10 sandwiches. You know, it's 20 bits of bread, that's 10 bits of ham, 10 bits of cheese, 2 people, a bench to make it on, some butter maybe, or margarine. There's a lot goes into just simple things, so you do kind of
Blinding!
have to simplify everything down to margin. And
Spike planted.
oh, they did us all at the wrong side.
Flash out!
Well, I'm top of the leaderboard, so we should know. See, I think
Last player standing.
I think having a good grip on cash flow forecasting is really important,
Their teeth will chatter in the cold.
because the biggest thing that surprises people with a business is that if you get paid today, you don't get paid today. There's always going to be like a 3-day lag between when someone pays you and you get paid. So what that means is often you've incurred costs. So yeah, you may receive £10 off a client in 3 days, but you may have already spent 3 days, so you actually only get 7 in, and that's called cash flow.
Blinding! Trevor! Clearing out! Flash out! Out of charges. Worthless.
Spike planted.
Amateur.
Last player
Oh,
standing.
behind me.
Enemy in defender spawn. You fought well.
Nice. See,
One enemy remaining.
extra nice. Super nice. 10-5. Let's go. So yeah, bookkeeping, cash flow forecasting is so important, because you know what you're getting paid versus what you actually think you're getting paid.
This is
Managing
what I
taxes
train
and
for.
bills and all that sort of stuff is an art. So the better you get at
Together,
that early
we
on,
will
the
bury them
bigger your
under
chance of
their
success is.
transgressions.
So yeah, what should you know about account and booking? Everything you can know. You know, everything you can know. Most important things to focus on is if you're trying to take people with you. So say, for example, you're trying to raise money, and when I say raise money, I say taking people with you, because you're saying, I'm going to do this and you're going to help me. That's taking someone with you. If you're doing that, you need to be better at bookkeeping, accounting, because you're then telling a story using maths ultimately.
Unavoidable.
Concussing!
Enemy killed.
That's not ready.
Waiting for the plant noise.
Here. Enemy spotted B.
Spike planted.
Enemy spotted B.
Too late. Blasting!
One enemy remaining.
Change of plans.
So yeah, everything. My answer to that is everything. You should know everything about accounting and bookkeeping.
Win. Show me where to go.
What financial statements will I need? Starting a business? None. You don't need any financial statements to start a business. Again, it all just comes down to what you're trying to do. I recommend that even if it is just you, you know, and even if you've made no pounds on a month or no dollars or whatever, still get in the habit of, you know, doing your forecasting, writing your sheets out, you know. I look after the ad spend in our company, and I do all
You
my
want to play? Let's play.
all of my metrics at the end of every day. Oh, that hurts. You can feel that through the game when that happens to you. When you get shot in the chest.
I've got your trail.
Last player standing.
If anyone's watching and you want to have a look at
Spike planted.
the investor research list, see if you can copy and paste that. That's the investor research list with 100 investors in. More, it's got more than 100. It's got 100 investor firms in. So we've got about 300 contacts in that.
I know what must be done.
So yeah, have a look at that and see if you can learn. Financial statements, what you need again, just get good at cash flow forecasting, and maybe, you know, so just forecasting a year in advance what you think your revenue is going to be and what your costs are going to be. If you can do that and do that well, you don't need to do anything else, you know. That is the absolute basics. I work with people who are, you know, PwC trained accountants, chartered accountants, etc. Reality is they get to use
Enemy spotted A.
Right there.
they get to use none of that stuff.
Watch this. Nightmare takes them.
Blinding!
Oh, I left it too late.
Spike planted.
I left it too late.
Enemy spotted B.
Last player standing.
Remove. I'm amped. Let's go. I got things to do.
(11-7). Let's get this game won. It's about winning, and this will put us at two losses and 1 victory. So
They are mine.
Oh, Sage.
Enemy spotted B. Hi! I'm pissed!
Flash out!
Don't kill me if you can't see me.
Blinding!
Oh, yeah, you can. She's totally oblivious to everything that's going on.
Last player standing.
Toxin screen down.
Very generalist question.
Spike planted.
What does marketing involve? I mean, marketing generally is just trying to get people to buy your product. So, normally... Oh, no. That's not a bad thing that Chamber does here. At least you know he's going to get a gunfight. So normally you have a product and you need people to buy it. So in our case, we do a few different types of marketing. We do paid adverts. So, you know, we pay for our business to get featured places, such as Google search. We work with other forums.
One
and
enemy remaining.
blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's unlucky. So there's that. The other side of marketing is just general brand awareness.
Secure.
So a lot of people just do brand awareness marketing, which is like, just in case you are in the supermarket and you need to choose a butter or a margarine, you know, you're going to choose mine because you've seen it 100 times today because I'm advertising on tubes and whatever. So marketing's generally just to get people to your business. The best businesses are twofold. Either they don't use any marketing at all.
Right there.
Enemy spotted A.
Concussing! Right there. Hey door. Flash out!
Get in my way.
Last player standing.
Toxins going up.
So yeah, marketing's just getting people to your website. I wouldn't overthink marketing too much.
Spike
You know, it's
planted.
ultimately just people
Toxin
talking about your
screen down.
business. I normally like to give myself a metric.
Dead
Oh, wow.
fool.
I like to give myself a metric to work with. So whether it's just clicks on your page, whether it's impressions, whether it's LinkedIn impressions, you know, I've got loads of different things I track.
No one will remember them.
On LinkedIn, for example, I don't really care about likes or engagement. I just care about impressions. Ultimately, I'm not trying to sell a product on LinkedIn. I don't link things that people can buy. I just talk about stuff. And I think so I think it's pointless for me to track anything else. So I just track impressions.
You want to play? Let's play.
Here.
Oh, I hit it twice.
The hunt begins.
Enemy
Trevor!
Spike down A.
Blinding! Let's go! Out of charges. Clearing out!
Oh, I went full John Rambo there.
Spike spotted A.
Is he called John Rambo? That sounds so
Last
weird
player
saying it like
standing.
that.
One enemy remaining.
I'll find you.
Hide, just hide.
Marked one.
Don't hide, kill everyone, yay. So yeah, marketing,
Match point.
work out what you're trying to achieve. I
What's the
prefer, you know,
eternal
to have a
rest?
website and drive people to the website and then measure the conversion. That's the best way to market your product. You know, drive people to a website. Gosh, another weird question. What is my market potential? Valorant, this game that I'm playing now, has got 15 million monthly users.
Concussing! Blasting!
I've got your trail. Reloading.
Let's put off.
Spike
Doesn't
down
matter,
B.
looks like we're going to win the game.
There, take them.
So yeah, market potential. Valorant's got 15 million monthly players, so I could go, oh well, if I'm making a Valorant business for Valorant.
One enemy remaining.
Bring them down.
Spike down B. Last player standing.
The Sage is quite good, so I think we'll win this.
Thirty seconds left.
Just win the fight. Yes, let's go.
Defenders win.
1-1.
We move forward.
Buzzing. So yeah, Valorant, 15 million monthly players. What's my market potential? We've just got to look and say, well, how many of those do you think you could service? So normally you add like 1%, so okay, 1%. So I'm going to target 150,000 or 1.5 million players, and out of them, maybe 50% will be free, and the other 50%. So you can work out your market potential by looking at a market and applying common sense. I'd say that's probably the most common sense place to start ultimately. But yeah, let's do one more. Let's get one more round in. Yeah, market potential. We normally say this word SAM, TAM, SOM, and it's like total market size, 10 people. And then the next one down is, well, how many do you think you can target? All right, well, I only target men, so out of 10 people, it's only going to be 5. And then out of those men, only maybe 1 will buy the product. So out of a total market size of 10, I can actually only sell to 1 person. And that's kind of how we work it out. So, yeah, again, just applying some sort of common logic, I guess, is probably the most important thing to anything that we talk about. But yeah, just understanding what you're trying to do. So, but then it's not relevant in the same way. So, if we look at our business, we do investment and fundraising. There was 6,458 fundraisings in Europe, either in the last quarter of the last year. I think it was the last year, 6,000 a year. So you would say, okay, well, that's how many businesses we can work with, 6,000 successful ones. And then you go, okay, well, they're not all in England or Spain where I live, so we can maybe discount 20% of those.
Match found.
So argument's sake, we're down to 4,000. Maybe let's say half don't need external support, and they've just got internal support. So we're down to now like 2,000 people a year could use our product. So, that's where we're sort of capped at. So you can work market potential out in a load of different ways. I would recommend doing that methodology. What about advertising promotion? Depends. I mean, it really depends what you're trying to achieve. I think personally, the best advertising you can do is, as a founder, is to get yourself out there and sort of become a thought leader in the space and an expert. That's why I do this stuff ultimately. I want to show people that I'm good enough. I want people to know that I know what I'm talking about. So you can only demonstrate that by sitting there and talking. And like I say, I hate webinars now. I get invited on. Someone messaged me the other day and was like, "Oh, do you want to do a webinar?" And I was like, "Well, not really. Do you want to come play some games on Twitch?" And I'm like, "Well, not really." And I was like, "Well, see, not everyone likes the same thing." So work on yourself. I think that's important. You know, make sure that you're a good figurehead for your company. You know, Elon Musk does this amazingly well with his businesses. You could argue Bezos does it really well. Richard Branson's brilliant at it. You know, the great businesses have got great leaders, and you need that. Because again, I talk a lot about taking people on a journey. You know, you're not only taking your staff, but you're also taking your customers on a journey. They're buying into something, you know, they're buying into this way that you do things and the way that you run fundraising or the way that you build a marketing app or the way that you build socks or t-shirts. You know, they're buying into that. And so, yeah, work on that yourself. I do think that simple advertising's the best. I think when you start trying to get too clever with it, such as sponsoring events and boxes and stuff, it just, you know, it's difficult. So I just think, you know, low budget, paid social, paid search. You know, if you can optimize your business for search, then you're in a great space.
This
You're in a
killing
really
is
great
terrible
space, so I would
business,
focus on
but I
that.
always say, if I must do something, be the best.
Okay, well, let's go. We had a round on this earlier on this map, if you remember. But I was a passive player back then. I wasn't trying to kill everyone, so... Or end their round. That's what I say, end their round. So let's see how it goes this time. With a bit more of an aggressive character. This guy does flashes. And I'm operating things, obviously, you know, with a mouse and keyboard. So it's like two-handed. I'm not sitting with a PlayStation controller. So I'm using WASD. Maybe that's obvious, I don't know. But you can see my abilities at the bottom. Q, C, Q, E, X. So this is C. We're just gonna put it in.
Clearing out!
Reloading.
Blinding! Flash out!
Push, guys, push.
Tossing!
Reloading.
Spike planted!
One enemy remaining.
Ooh, I nearly got him. See, advertising and promotion, just keep it light again. You know, everything I want to practice and preach is just like keeping
Weapon
it light,
here.
keeping it exciting, keeping it, you know, within control. All of a sudden, you Google adverts, spend 600 quid, and you know, you just get yourself stuck. So, be conservative. Revenue costs money to generate, so you have to be careful about how much revenue you make. Because again, it's more likely that you'll have to pay your staff and your suppliers and your Google ads before you get any revenue from any of that. So you have to balance that cash flow perfectly. But yeah, advertising and promotion, when you get to that stage, it's very natural. It's just telling people about where they can make that final touch point with your business. And ultimately, you know, it's normally somewhere they can buy it. So, great.
Trevor!
Enemy spotted A. Spotted A. Reloading.
Blinding!
Reloading.
Blasting! Out of charges.
Enemies attack our spawn.
Please survive.
Spike planted.
Satchel out.
Right there.
Go get him. Ouch. Enemy
Ay,
spotted A.
I shouldn't really have
Last
done that.
player standing.
36 y 50 Gómez.
One enemy remaining. Clutch.
You forget your
Brilliant.
place.
See, yeah, when you get to the stage of advertising and promotion, it becomes very
Oh, man,
natural. It
thank
comes
goodness
just
you're on our
about
side.
really,
Aye, great
you know,
work,
getting
amigo.
that final touch point out, getting the bit where people can pay you, get that in front of their faces, and that's very natural. Very natural. I would not recommend it. Marketing at the Super Bowl or anything like that stupid stuff. You know, save your money for staff. You know, save your money for a rainy day, because you'll need it one day. I know people who've made hundreds of millions in revenue and, you know, got nothing to show for it ultimately.
Concussing! Pitiful.
Got him.
Grenade! Enemy spotted B.
Spike
Risky.
down B.
Risky.
I'm too far. I'm too far.
I have the spike.
Teleport's gone.
One enemy remaining.
Spike planted.
This is how to set price levels. I mean,
I'm still here, amigo.
it's a great question. And ultimately, it's a cheeky answer because
They are no match, so I cannot.
you
say
can only
I'm
charge
surprised.
someone what they're willing to pay. You know, if no one
Bang it.
if no one buys your product for X pounds, then you've not set the right price. However, anyone can sell something for free, so you have to balance it. And again, the Elon Musk, you know, it's a great example of what he's doing in public at the minute. I really recommend you have a look at it. He's saying he wants to charge people money, and they're saying, well, we don't think we should pay it.
Reloading. Grenade!
Flash out!
Here comes it.
Shadows traveling.
Too late.
Spotted B. Enemy spotted B.
Hey door. Concussing! Blasting! Blinding!
Last player
Oh, he was
standing.
there.
Spike
Oh,
down
he was
A.
there. That's a shame. That's been quite nice there. So price levels. Ultimately, you can only
30
pay what
seconds
someone
left.
wants, and then you've got the other factor, which is, you know,
One enemy remaining.
which is market factors.
Stealing sight.
So, you know, what's the average? If you're selling football shirts, you can't just rock up with a £400 football shirt. You know, it has to be.
I have the spike.
10 seconds left.
Oh, he got outplayed. You can't just say your £400 football shirt, or maybe you can, but that's
I'll
going
do
to be
my job,
reflective
you
of
do
quality,
yours.
you know. So, I think setting pricing's got quite a few factors involved in it. One, just what does the market generally set the price at? So, you know, what are people paying for products and services like yours? It's very unlikely you're going to bring a brand new product to market. I mean, it's hard to see in a scenario where that happens, I guess.
Forward.
See, I would just focus on, you know, again, speaking with customers, understanding how they value your product, testing a few different scenarios.
Tremor! Out of charges.
Enemy spotted B.
Clearing out. Spike planted.
Killed.
Last player standing.
Oh! No! Okay, we started well, but we've lost 2 in a row now. So yeah, pricing levels is it's taken us about 2 years to get our prices right, to be honest. And weird stuff happens in between. I mean, I remember pitching this one guy for $5,000 for a product, and we pitched him $5,000, and he's like, "Yeah, not really what I'm looking for." So I went back a week later
which
and
gun to
pitched
fix
the
this
exact
time?
same product for $10K, and he was like, "Okay, that makes more sense." So, but that wasn't the product we wanted to deliver, because $10K came with loads of expectation. So sometimes even what you can get, you might not want to take. So lots of trial and error on pricing. You know, making sure that you balance how much it costs versus your own expectation on the product. Now, we put a lot of expectation, and that was a big mistake we had early on
Concussing.
with Inverse, is that we sort of created this high expectation product. And in reality,
Blasting.
Bomb buddy out.
And in reality, you want to have zero expectation. It's not as easy as you think to do that.
Enemy spotted A.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
I have the spike.
Ah, he had his ultimate. Never mind.
Their omen may be a nightmare.
So yeah, price
but I
levels are
was never
fascinating.
scared at the dark.
I think the biggest thing about price levels, though, when I really think about it intelligently, is balancing how much someone's willing to pay you versus the expectation. So if you want to sell a £400 football shirt, yeah, you can do that, but it's going to need to be made from super special cotton and hand woven and never even been near an animal and organic and
Cover going out.
the wrong gun here.
Enemy spotted A.
Need to keep long if possible.
Last player standing.
Lame. Lame again.
No one beats my firepower. I got this.
So yeah, price levels is a fascinating one. I mean, you could do literally 3 hours just on price levels, but just to recap, how much someone's willing to pay for your product, ultimately what level of expectation you're looking for. You know, if you're charging $9.99 a month for a streaming service, you know, people are gonna put you against Netflix. And do you want to be the same quality level as Netflix, or do you want to be less? If you want to be less, it's going to have to be $2.99 a month. So, you know, the market does dictate a lot of our... He's close.
Flash out! Spike is down.
Spike down. Attacker spawn.
Worthless.
Last player standing.
That's not ready.
Uh-oh. Otto Spaghetti-O. Yeah, that was a good question. Are some locations better than others? If we're talking about physical businesses, you know, there's always a trade-off in that sense. Because to be next door to Harrods in London is going to cost you 1,000 times more than it is to be on an industrial estate in Manchester.
I got their omen.
So we ultimately have to balance, you know.
Reloading.
God, he's...
Blasting!
Last player standing.
Oh no.
I know what must be done.
Right there.
So yeah, definitely some locations are better than others. You're just gonna get more traffic if you're in a busy place. Simple as that. And when we look at physical units, they're very much like Google Ads. The more money you pay for adverts, the more people are gonna come on your page. Let's swap the word adverts for premises. And the more money you pay for your premises, you'd expect the more people are gonna come in and use it.
Reloading.
Trevor!
At least you'd expect that logic.
Begins! Clearing out!
Get him.
One enemy remaining.
Spike planted.
Okay, we've won a round again, which is good news. Some locations, let's use another example, not just money. logistically is important. So a lot of businesses in the UK prefer to sit their head offices around the Milton Keynes area, just through the transport links between north and south. If your business is more focused towards like
Blinding. Concussing.
if your business is more focused towards, you know, wholesale and manufacturing, then yeah, you want large space, cheap, big space. So you would want to be somewhere with good supply links. However, if you're selling cupcakes for weddings, you need to be accessible. You need to be near a big city or in a B town. You wouldn't want that business to be on a, you know, next door to the cinema in the retail park, for example. So you have to think about it in context with your own business. But
Let's flush them out.
my businesses, I prefer to have fully remote nowadays.
Tremor.
Don't know why we're back at
Cover
B
going
again.
out.
Satchel out.
I have them.
Spike down mid.
What are we doing?
One less.
Last player standing.
I don't know what that tactic is. Disappointing is the answer.
Terminus.
Last round in the half.
Buy the best guns you can.
So yeah, locations definitely are a factor, but let's not get too sucked into the whole, like, you've got to have the best unit on the best street, because there's a balance. You know, there's a balance with how much revenue you can make, how much it's going to cost you. So it comes down to margin and high your base costs, rent, all of that stuff. It just makes it harder for you to make profit. So you want to get your rent as low as possible. You want everything to be as low as possible.
Concussing. Enemy A. Blasting. Teleport's broken.
Face your fear!
Flash out.
Someone
Easy. Blinding. Got you.
Enemy
Oh, they're
spotted
both
A.
behind.
Last player standing.
Spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
Three out. I go through it.
Nice. So yeah, some locations are better
Switching
than others.
sides.
Don't get sucked into that bullshit though. You know, work it out for you. The most revenue business I know is a guy who does the most revenue business I know. That's quality English. The highest revenue or turnover business I know is a guy who does burgers from an industrial estate in Manchester. So millions from these burgers. So, you know, again, it just depends what's going to be right for you. So think about it. That's part of the business plan. I know at the beginning, if you've bothered to listen to 3 hours, you know, at the beginning I said, oh, business plans. I mean, this is the sort of stuff you work out in that phase, whether you've actually got legs or not, and where the place you should be. So if you're going to do retail-based, location-based,
Here.
Tremor.
Enemy spotted.
Clearing out.
Spike planted. Last player standing. Flawless.
Look at me. I know that I am by your side.
Okay, let's defend A. Like our lives depend on it. So yeah, some locations are better than others. Don't get sucked into that. Everyone wants to have a, you know, a London office, etc. But you know, again, making money is all about how much money's left at the end of the day.
Let's have some
It's better
fun.
to lease or buy the store, plant, and equipment. This is part of the job that a CFO would have in a company. So when you get to a certain level, they make these type of decisions.
Many enemies mid.
Out of charges. Flash out.
If you look at Google and Amazon, for example, they have as much debt as they do cash. That's because for them, it's, you know, it's better just to pay cheap rates on money
Spike
and
down B.
have lots of cash in the bank.
Last player
So,
standing.
It totally depends. Again, like anything, you know, if you're leasing something, it is debt, and you have to be careful with debt. Wow. That's crazy looking away. So yeah, I think the answer to that question is it totally depends.
We're here because we're the
If you're in a
best.
business where you
Don't
need
any
something
of
like
you
a,
forget that.
you know, you're making clothes, you're making t-shirts, I would much prefer a business look to using a supplier, you know, somewhere you can get a fixed cost from without the overheads. So unless you really need something, like for example you're a brew dog and you need to have somewhere to make the beer, then yeah, now I would say okay, it's probably not the best thing to do to sell equity in that business to pay for a machine.
Blasting.
Spike down A.
It's got a safe way around the back. See, it depends.
Teleport's broken.
Enemy spotted A.
Blinding. Flash out. Dead.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Concussing.
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
Oh, he's tough. I thought he'd teleport up high, but he's gone the other side of the box.
Trust me, say we'll make mistakes.
Clever, good play. I
Once they
thought we'd
do,
won that round there.
take advantage.
That's a shame.
Reloading.
I think we had that to 3v1 at the end there. Never mind. So yeah, I think it depends. It's not a great idea to sell equity to pay for machinery. You know, if you're selling equity in your business, which is what the only other alternative is, I guess, you're better off getting a lease product.
Tremor.
Reloading.
Enemy mid. Reloading.
Here.
Enemy A.
Here.
Dead.
Can I operate my business from home?
One enemy remaining. Spike down. Attacker spawn.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, God, it'd be weird if you couldn't. Do you not think? I'm happy to die there. So yeah, of course you can operate your business from home. I mean, I don't know who's asking that question. There's a few things to consider.
30 seconds left.
Oh, wow, this guy's really clean this off.
Last player standing.
Wow. There's a few things to consider. One, obviously having your home address all over the internet. That is a thing, you know, and it's a bit weird for people. So people don't like it. So normally when you register with Company's House, you haven't actually got an office address, so you have to use your own address for correspondence. You can of course use like a virtual mailbox, for example, to get around that, but most people don't do that. So I think
Don't let up.
I think the answer is like, yeah, you can run a business from home, but just make sure you're protecting yourself and your own sort of like freedoms.
Concussing. Let's go! Clearing out.
Spike down. Attacker spawn.
So yeah, if you're gonna start a business from home, just make sure you take like, you know, not so many risks.
Here.
One enemy remaining.
So yeah, just look after yourself. Ultimately, just look after yourself. Yes, you can start a business from home. Most people do, to be honest. Amazon was started in his garage. Like, there isn't really anything stopping
30
you
seconds
doing that.
left. Last player standing.
Scatter.
10 seconds left.
Oh, it's so obvious what he was doing.
Spike planted.
Yeah, if you don't play him and you wouldn't know, that's what you can do, I guess. So I have to be a little bit. He's not going to be there, is he? Oh, he's gave his location away. Oh,
Shameful performance.
nice. Yeah, shameful, I agree. So yeah, of course you can operate a business from home. I think it's a bit of a stupid question, really. Just make sure you don't get yourself in any stupid trouble, really. And the only way to avoid getting yourself in stupid trouble is to take steps to protect yourself. How do I find out about suppliers, manufacturers, distributors? Nowadays, everything's on marketplaces. So what this question is referring to is obviously when you first start a business, like what's the the first steps that you should take. And normally in this case, it is.
Let's make some chaos.
Normally in this case, it's alright, I want to do a business. I need a T-shirt manufacturer. I need someone to make the jam or whatever.
Train harder.
The hunt begins.
I don't have a gun. I'd love a gun.
Spike down. Attacker spawn.
Out of charges. Flash out.
Spike is in attacker spawn. Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
Fall down.
Nice. She's done now.
Ace.
Good job. So how do you find out about money? Like, yeah, is he starting a business?
Wait until I blind
I guess this
those
comes
sight.
into unfair advantages a little bit. An unfair advantage is obviously an advantage you've got over your competition, and something to do with that maybe supply chain. maybe you've just got better supply chain than someone else. You know the right people in the right places. So maybe that's something you should know about if you're coming into a business. Like, don't start a business if you've got to
Hit them
learn
fast, hit them hard.
how to buy it and how to sell it. You're putting yourself at a massive disadvantage in that context. If you are coming in cold, you know, for example, I didn't know when I first started my car business where to buy car wrap material from. So, you know, it was a big priority of mine to find that out. So I went on a training course with a material manufacturer, and they connected me with a material supplier.
Concussing!
Enemy spotted.
Wow, big plan, big push.
Spike planted.
Got one.
Last player standing.
Got none. So yeah, if you don't have that, you don't have that inbuilt network, you can obviously like do a course or something.
Let us see what they have planned for us this time.
And sort of find out the information that way. Alternatively, reach out to other founders, you know, other people who've got businesses, but maybe not in your exact area or exactly the same. So if someone reached out to me and was like, oh, hey, how can I find this? If it was my secret, then I wouldn't tell them. You know, I'm quite open like that. But ultimately, yeah, founders are probably a good space. Online message boards, etc. Obvious place.
Trevor!
Enemies A. Careful there.
Blinding!
Spike down. Attacker spawn.
Here.
They've done it again. They've left spawn. They've left a
Barrier
spike in
created.
spawn.
Blasting!
I mean, just how bad is that play?
Weak.
Last player standing.
Like, how bad are we if they can leave the spike in spawn and then still get it and win the round? It's pretty amazingly bad. So yeah, back to the question. How do you find out about suppliers, manufacturers, distributors? Ultimately, you're going to have to do some research. I wouldn't say places like
30 seconds left.
I wouldn't say Alibaba, etc. Like, you know,
planted.
online marketplaces, because, you know, you're just buying crap. So yeah, I would just do some research. Try and buy local if you can. If you're doing anything that requires complex supply chain distribution and you don't know it, it's probably a sign not to bother going near there, because
Match point.
there's always an
You're up.
expert, you know.
Stay
There's
safe.
always an expert. There's always... And they just get an unfair advantage. And what I mean by unfair advantage is, if I gave you £1 million and I gave someone else £1 million with exactly the same sets of, like, you know, the same branding, the same everything, one person would succeed more than the other. That's just the reality in business. They both wouldn't perform equally as well. One would perform better than the other, and that would just come down to industry insight, knowledge, etc., etc.
Concussing!
Enemy attacker spawn.
Face your fear. Last player standing.
GG.
Spike down. Attacker spawn.
So yeah, that's that one.
Still they are.
And the final place, where can I go for help? I mean, that's a great question. Oh, we lost to a knife kill. That's so
Attackers
embarrassing.
win.
So where can you go for help? Here, right here. Log on to Brainy Globe Twitch every Wednesday from 7 o'clock UK, and I'll answer all the questions that I get given. Appreciate everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for watching. Who's going to catch us later? I'm going to hammer it across all my socials. But apart from that, thanks everyone, and see you next week.